Hi, I'm Gil Benbrook from Phoenix Stages and TalkinBroadway.com, and I am here with the cast of Hands on a Hardbody at Arizona Broadway Theater, which runs through September 24th, by the way. So Eddie, let's start with you. What is this show about?
Hands on a Hardbody is based on the 1997 documentary about the pursuit of the American dream, about endurance, and who's going to last the longest in this American contest.
Because the last person standing with their hand on the truck wins the truck.
Exactly.
So you're all standing around the truck with your hands on the truck right now, by the way.
Yeah.
But you know, it's also, the musical touches upon a lot of other things too. It touches upon poverty, it touches upon racism. It touches upon a lot of things that you don't really see in a Broadway musical, and also has people of all different shapes and sizes, the working class, a lot of people who, you know, you don't really see on a Broadway stage. But the show really, it focuses on these 10 contestants, some of which were actually in the documentary. Some of them are amalgamations of some of the people in the film. But everybody here has their own is here because they all have a dream. So Eleonora, let's talk to you. What exactly, for your character, Norma, what is the dream of winning this truck signify?
Okay, well, Norma Valverde, she's a very devout Christian woman, and she is a former nurse. That's actually something that is in the documentary. She was a caretaker for a long time, and her character is the caretaker of her family. They've had a rough year. Her nephew Hector has come back from the war, and they're struggling, and she's trying to find a way to take care of everyone. And so in her mind, this truck will help her take care of her husband and her children and the rest of her family. And she believes that God has sent her here to win this truck, that this is her calling in life.
And I think everybody in the musical is really struggling, and they see the winning the truck as sort of a salvation in a certain way. So
and that's actually one of the lines in the show. Here's redemption, no tax exemption. It's in the very first song of the show.
For a $20,000 truck. So hands up off the truck. How many people watched the film? Did everybody watch the film? Okay, so Johanna, your character is in the film.
Yes.
So how difficult was it to not be a caricature of her, but to honor this woman who is a real person?
I feel like I'm kind of doing, I do Janice different than she is in on the film. On the film, she's quieter. She doesn't have the smoker's voice that my Janice has. I feel like we've kind of gone with this Janice being more of a survivalist type of a person, whereas she was just more of just a redneck housewife. But the hardest thing for me is she has no teeth, and I really wanted to have no teeth, but our director was like, no, that's not gonna be a thing. But it's not really, I feel like I'm doing her a service, not a disservice. So.
That makes sense. So in the film, the competition lasted about 5 days or 77 hours. So you guys are doing almost 40 performances. So I did a rough calculation. So with the, running over 2 hours, you will actually be on the stage, the majority of you that last the contest, for as long as they were actually in the film. Which I'm sure by now, I know the show just opened, you're probably already exhausted of standing up there on this truck. So how difficult is it to not only remember your lines, remember the dialogue, remember your interests and exits, but remember to keep your hand on the truck? Anybody want to take that one?
It's tough because I zone out at the grocery store.
So what are you doing to keep, what are you doing to stay so focused? Because I have to imagine it's more difficult than any other show.
At first it was like staying really focused on what everybody was saying and really knowing the story. And then after you get there for a while, then you start like doing little things like,
Yeah.
No, I'm just, it does take a lot of effort.
I think we started rehearsal knowing, like, okay, even when we were in the rehearsal hall and we didn't have a real truck, we all kept our hands on our prop truck just so that we could get the hang of it, and now it's just second nature. When we get next to it, it's magnetic. So
you cling to it.
Yeah.
So Laron Lee, your character in the show eats a lot of Snickers, sugar, other addictions. So what are you doing to keep up your endurance throughout the actual musical?
I mean, for me, it's literally lots and lots of water. I was eating a lot of Snickers with the on stage for a minute, but it kind of just didn't work out the best way. Trying to eat all those Snickers. So water and like eating properly, but I easily get tired just, you know, sitting on this truck. So it's, you know, just trying to stay focused and alive and present, and fingers crossed that we make it to where we need to make it to.
Okay. So Luther, your character in the show has what I think is one of the best songs in the second act. It's about how America is becoming homogenous.
Right.
That on every street corner there's a Starbucks, a Walmart, a Walgreens, street corner, strip mall. But do you think that's necessarily a bad thing, or is it a good thing to have consistency?
Well, from his point of view, I mean, growing up as a teenager or something, just now facing the world, you know, you approach things with excitement, and change is actually accepted and refreshing. But the older you get, you need that emotional stability
and connection,
groundedness, and connection. Right, exactly. So for JD, it's more, you know, how did he get so old? You know, he blinked, and next thing you know, everything's different. It's changed. So that's it.
And yeah. But so Luther, going over to the other corner now. Your character won the contest previously, so you come back for various reasons that are revealed throughout the show, but you're also a little bit of the villain of the piece, because you sort of intimidate the other contestants to try to actually, you know, take their hands off of the truck. Yeah. So how difficult is it, not that everybody else, not the other 9 contestants are necessarily all nice people, but how difficult is it being sort of the villain of the show?
Difficult? I mean, it's a lot of fun. I think the fun thing about playing villains is that as an actor, you have to find their redeeming qualities and what their objective is and what they're really in it for. And it's fun because, I mean, everyone wants to win this truck, but I mean, he's done it before and he's got a lot invested in it. And I think it's just a technique or a choice that he makes to be a villain, which makes it a lot of fun. His journey is kind of all over the place.
Well, it also is very revealing, because you learn you learn different things about all the characters throughout the show, and I think it's interesting that what you find out about not just you but about everybody. Right. Okay, so you guys, a lot of you have worked at ABT in the past. Some of you are new to ABT. You guys obviously have been very connected throughout this rehearsal process and actually doing the show together. So my last question is this: if you were all in an endurance contest together, with what you know about each other, who do you think would last the longest? So basically,
No, I wouldn't compete.
So there's some people would cheat. Johanna would win.
I'm on Team Johanna.
Team Johanna.
I'm out.
Definitely
Out.
All right, well, thanks, guys. This is Gil Benbrook from Talkin Broadway and PhoenixStages.com, here with the cast of Hands on a Hardbody at Arizona Broadway Theater through September 24th.
Come see the show.
Sarah Skit.